Love, light, positivity, people. Yeah. So, bit of introspection, I guess. Uh, I would say following yesterday, but the day's kind of immaterial. The thumbnail was from 3 years ago now, by my recollection, which is coming up 3 years. Uh, and I was cycling around Cornwall, and I was able to cycle 25, 30 miles a day, no problem, and sometimes a little bit further. Now I'm going to cough. I've just noticed I've got a there we go. Excuse the hairs on the end of my nose. Um, so what I'm coming at in this live stream is to uh, put forward the fact that I know that I have been broken many times in my life. Who hasn't? And I have had incredibly long, dark periods. Who hasn't, right? Um, the reason that I'm kind of presenting this is to acknowledge that people want to help, um, but also to put forward how it can come across when I'm not, this is very personal, but when I'm not actually asking individuals for help, particularly when I am actually pretty much fixed, right? I've got the tail ends of letting my health suffer, and not taking proper care of myself. Those are basic things that I should be on top of. And I am at the moment, and I will continue to be. But so I do acknowledge people wanting to help, but at times, people, I know they mean well, but will basically character assassinate. Or at least that's how it feels. I'm sure we've all been there. And it got me to thinking that it was a few days ago. I bumped into somebody I don't see that frequently, but herself, her partner, been friends of mine for 15 years or so, 16, 17 years at least. No, more, 20. Anyway, oh no, I'm old. 20 plus years. And I said, "Oh, you've lost weight." And I realized to myself that, yeah, okay, technically, I know that I'm meaning that as a compliment, but it's that, am I saying, well, that's better than it was? Because we have this preconceived notion that, I was going to say, not overweight is better. And yes, technically it is for your health, but it's an incredibly personal thing. And I'm sort of like, I said it, and I instantly regretted it. It's that small talk. Um, and that's just on a surface level. When it comes to, yeah, myself, it's that thing of, yeah, when I need help, or I can think about and properly assess the areas under which I could use support, I will go and find that support, or I will speak to people in relationship to that support. It's not particularly helpful if people are like, I can't give an example, but people are basically pointing out things which they see as being wrong with you. It's like, I've got things wrong with me enough without you telling me what you find wrong with me. All I'm working towards for myself as this individual is to feel okay in my own skin, and to feel comfortable and confident in what I do. Um, but then I want to get away from that because, again, as I say, people are basically trying to be helpful. It's one of the things which I think I realised, having felt incredibly teased and bullied during school. Oh no, play the violin. Is a lot of that commentary again was probably, it was mean, but it was probably done without malice. Basically, I can't really explain what I'm trying to say, but done without malice. Kids will be kids, kind of thing. In terms of that, I'm talking about how broken I've been, and I know I'm not the only human being that's like this, and I've learnt now to sort of, yeah, stop being the victim to my past. But certainly for myself, I brought all of that trauma into my, well, early adult life and into my adult life. And yeah, there's no two ways about it. It was trauma. So that trauma's there, and then every day, pretty much for, not every day, but for a lot of my life, it had been or has been like propelling myself through the next nightmare, the next nightmare, the next nightmare. So it feels like never dealing with existing trauma and not, and then adding on more trauma. I mean, trauma is a very big word. Big word. Sounds serious. The thing being for me with what I would term trauma, so categorically, the memories, even now, that I have from my childhood are not exactly full of sunshine and lollipops. No, they're there, but unfortunately, my memories of childhood are contaminated with just, yeah. I don't. When I say I don't really want to go there, I don't really want to go there because I don't really want to get myself back in a rut of, oh, it was terrible, because it wasn't all terrible. I know that, and we all, I think most of us carry shit that happened way, way, way back with us. I'm sure of it. I can't think that other human beings are different. But yeah, as for the day to day, it's like the last couple of years, it's just been, I don't know how to cope. Until about a month ago now, I had basically spent 2 years in perpetual anxiety and depression again, and it just got to a thing of me getting out of bed, sitting in front of the computer. I was frightened to go outside, and I knew in myself, and this is the other thing, is knowing in oneself that things aren't right, but not really knowing what to do with them. And in terms of that, of course, well, in the past, I've had bad experiences with mental health services. And again, that then tarnishes any expectations. In fact, it fills me more with dread that because I'm not happy, I'm going to be made even less happy by losing my freedom because I'm not happy, i.e., being sectioned and placed within a institution. So there's that. Then in relationship to why I was, because I became, I've sort of got over it, but I became very agoraphobic, and it's not the first time in my life that that's happened. Um, and again, that is, there are several elements to it that have had a real basis, and what I am now doing is trying not to carry those past memories into my present, into the here and now, and into my future. But it's not always easy. Within my Facebook lives, I have my Facebook lives. Yeah, I have. I've ranted. Um, I was. I became scared of the police force within our area. And I know I bang on about this, but it was the number of times I was being arrested seemingly for nothing and not being charged, and 20 hours each time. And so you can see I'm still got elements of that trauma, but every time the police decide to feel my collar, they come at it arms behind back. I've got bad shoulders. I say to them, I've got bad shoulders. That just seems to make them pin my arms back harder. Cuts into my wrists from the handcuffs, etc., 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 and roughing me up. And so there's me in that situation. I then end up fearful of the police because I'm like, well, I'm not doing anything that is criminal. I'm not. You're not charging me ultimately. And in relationship to that, they were consistently pulling me for walking up the road, walking down the road. Then they would search, and then they would find my supply of cannabis or ketamine, right? Never charged with that, and never charged with crossing the road, or never charged. So, and again, very easy as I did to fall into a victim mentality over it, and problematic really in relation to dealing with that, because it is that kind of like thing of, well, if I can't trust Joe Public, I can't trust Joe Police Officer, who the fuck can I trust? And on that line, I am always, I just basically these days take things at face value in terms of trust, and I don't know whether that's particularly healthy, but it's comfortable. Yeah, you don't give me reason to distrust you, I extend trust. Give me a reason to distrust you, gone. If I can give you gone. But that's like a revolving door, isn't it? Because some people you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's part of your character, and you establish that and you work that out. You just trust them a little bit less, but you still keep them within that circles. So yeah, at this point in time, this is the thing. It's like I'm balanced, believe it or not, and stable, believe it or not, for myself. As in, I feel currently quite calm, quite balanced, which is good. I'm able to get out. I'm able to begin exercising again. I yeah, I don't. I've yeah, I've come to the conclusion that if I can avoid working for an employer, so I'm not basically faced with the same four walls or same desk job or same factory line and same set of faces day in, day out. But I can, well, go for self-employment. That's what I'm going to do. I am in myself concerned, and this is not asking for help, but I am in myself concerned that what happens if I go back downhill. And I think the thing there is catching myself as quickly as possible if I feel myself spiral, and do something about it. I guess one of the things there which I do come up against, and it's something where I feel that we have a failing as a society towards each other, in a way, is the mental health service slash NHS. If you're not, say, within a city environment or a large town with a 24-hour day, 7-day a week hospital, if you go into crisis, you're stuck. Yeah, you just have to bite your lip and, well, scream and cry through it, kind of thing. And I don't know. Well, I was gonna say I don't know on that one. We have things like Samaritans, which is okay, but is that kind of feels like we're missing a bit of a crossover. But again, as I say, best will in the world. I don't necessarily want that intrusion in my life or on my life. Yeah. But as for me, I actually feel pretty fixed at the moment. Hopefully, the over the next few weeks, the live streams I do, I would have cleaned my bird cage back there. The mattress will be gone. I will probably have moved that shelf, and I will probably begin to put together a throw on that back wall to bring some color to my streams. Somebody, a friend said to me, "You should stream games," and it's like, well, I've done that in the past. I'm still trying to work out exactly what it is that I want to, what content I want to give. I recognise that I'm not strictly an entertainer when I'm talking, and I'm not here to entertain. I'm not here to be, to get famous or to gain notoriety in this capacity. On that, I have dabbled with, all the way through my life, we all do, but dabbled with music, music production. So at this point in time, I need to focus on setting up my gardening business. After that, if it's of enough success, I intend to reinvest back into audio equipment, and I would like to be able to demonstrate my compositions. I watch this space. Whether I get there, well, it's another thing which actually, and again, part of the reason for these videos is to say things which may be ramified with other people. One of the things which I am very much aware of at this point in time, and have been in the past, is there is always something else to be done or doing. And if you find a down moment, that's the time to fill that down moment with something constructive. And that is also in line with my smoking or vaping habit. He says as he picks up his vape and goes, because the days where I smoke less is when I am filling pretty much, or where every single corner is filled, every single line is complete, or needs completing. When I get the downtime, it's all too easy to reach for the cigarette or to reach for the vape. Through my life, in terms of, because to me, nicotine has been the hardest drug to leave and put behind. Okay. So to those out there who also smoke, to those who've actually managed to quit, good on you, genuinely. Please, may that continue. To those that are wanting to quit, I understand. I understand how difficult it is and how crazy it is, because up until about a week and a half ago, just to give you an idea of how short a gap I have had in smoking, I was, well, you could hear that cough. That cough was getting worse and worse and worse, and I'm still on it because, well, that smoke for a period settles that irritation. but then that irritation comes back tenfold, and then it's another cigarette. Right. So yeah, on that, trying to impart the advice which I give to myself is to try to occupy your time and take control, and don't be frightened of taking control and the amount of work it actually does require. To, I say, always be in control, and don't worry if you lapse, but it's that once you see yourself lapse, to break yourself out of that chain as quickly as possible. I know it's sort of easier said than done. Yeah, and so that's what I'm doing today. And on that, I have got an entire house still to clean, clear, decorate. Then moving on, an entire house to manage. That needs to be done. So this coming on, doing a live stream, talking about being fixed, but where I have been broken. And as I say, the thumbnail is me when I was fixed. What I will say, so this is procrastination, but what I will say in relationship to when that photograph was taken is I was fixed, but it was a lot of band-aids. Moving forward, I want to be tearing as many of those band-aids off as possible to actually deal with the underlying, I say nonsense. It's not nonsense, but because intrinsically the issues which I face or anybody faces are as real and as poignant as the next, and often will have some rationale behind them, probably more times than we care to admit. But then it's that if we continuously put a temporary fix on something, we're not actually getting to the root of the problem. And sometimes, yeah, we will always need a temporary fix because we haven't got a better solution. That could be prescribed medication. I don't recommend alcohol. I certainly don't recommend tobacco. It could be something else, but it's that trying to fix something with a temporary fix will, or in my estimation, always lead to a potential for addiction or need for, it doesn't matter whether it's an SSRI, it doesn't matter whether it's a benzo, yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's a benzo. If you're putting a temporary fix, it's going to be temporary. If it's resolved something and you feel better, the chances are you're going to want to go back to it because you're fixing it again, but not necessarily dealing with the underlying problem. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I will be using YouTube more and more and more and more because Facebook is a platform for videos. It's not particularly friendly for live videos. Anyway, that's Meta's choice. YouTube, I think, is probably the way. Well, it's going to be the way forward. I look forward to maybe getting some comments, etc. But again, I'm not doing these videos for an audience. Please don't get me wrong. If you are in the audience, love, light, positivity, and genuine. I do say this a lot, but push that envelope if you can, and if you can't, just work towards your own inner peace, basically. And inner peace can be scary. That's got me off on a tangent. I do tangents. Inner peace can be scary because when everything feels like it's calm and settled, it's at times disconcerting. And it's like, I don't know, from a very basic point of view, it's almost like, what's going to go wrong? Or if you're like me at times, it's like you find that in a peace and equilibrium, and then you throw a bloody spanner in the works, or you throw your sap, your shoe in the works, and almost like you want to create a new set of issues. Um, and again, I'm far from perfect on not doing that to myself, but I have certainly learned that it's okay to actually just have time where you feel at peace. There's nothing to worry about. And I don't need to break or shatter that peace. Because there will be plenty of times where peace will be shattered without my doing. So, and that pretty much is it. I just really want to drive it home to people that I think it is important that we look out for each other. We should certainly help each other, and that's, but my advice is, and I take this for myself, is to not try to fix and arrange people, because you are potentially going to be adding further salt to injuries in a person's ego, in a person's psyche, in a person's well-being, whilst well-intentioned. If a person is already struggling, let them tell you what they're struggling with, and then help with those problems. Don't introduce your own observations unless it is critical to the well-being of that individual. There are going to be times where you're like, an example would be if your friend has cut their arm open but they haven't noticed, you probably want to inform them. If your friend is acting very out of character or out of sorts, you might want to say, what's going on? But give the person you're speaking to the opportunity to articulate what is going wrong for them before you go in trying to assess or fix shit. And be a good listener in life. Even if, and I'm going to relate this a little bit, but even if the person that you're with doesn't shut up, still listen. It's a balance, particularly when you've got individuals that maybe actually want some interaction back, but it's too much too quickly, and you're just like, yeah, well, if you want me to listen, I can listen. If you want me to talk back, that is going to become problematic unless you shut up. If I tell you to shut up, that's going to seem horrible. But people will be people will be people. Me, I'm just trying to be the best version of myself at any given moment. Each their own. Love, light, positivity out there, people. It's 30 minutes of time that you're not getting back. It's 30 minutes of time that I wanted to procrastinate in. So, it's a win-win. Love, light, positivity. Bye for now.